So
So,
with
go ahead.
sorry, let me ask the question
I was
again.
just gonna answer. You want to ask it?
uh, this is the intro. Hello, welcome back to episode of Layers. We already were doing it, and then I realized partway through that it stopped recording, so we're gonna start over again. But you're gonna get this
We're back.
podcast. Hello, well, welcome to episode 2. Glad you're back. Uh, I guess I'll introduce this guy again. He already heard the intro, so it kind of ruins the whole fun of the surprise. Well, this man, Boston Braves, Boston. Oh my gosh, Boston Rays, Minnesota Braves. Favorite donut might be maple glaze. It's Pete Rogers. Welcome. How you doing, man?
I'm good, Casey. How are you?
Good, good. I definitely don't know what's going on. How's the weather over there? Did not ask that before. You said it was like
It
negative
is
3, right?
cold. It is
Yeah.
-3 right now. This morning we were in the nice double digits, negatives, -20. I think
Ugh.
is what we started off this morning. And let
Yeah,
me
like
tell you, my home was struggling to keep us warm.
yeah, I mean, I don't have heat either, but I'm not I shouldn't be complaining, but California 46 is like a -3 Minnesota. So you know what? I'm
It's
going to say
not even close.
not even close.
I
Yeah,
lived
for
I
you
lived
for you.
I lived in Cali for a year, and
Oh,
the
okay.
45-degree winters, I was like, I can't have this. This is unacceptable. I need an actual winter, otherwise I will lose my mind.
That's like t-shirt weather for you probably, right?
Oh my god, I never wore pants or a sweatshirt. I was just constantly in t-shirt and shorts, and I was like,
Well,
this is ridiculous.
maybe
If
some
I don't
pants,
have a
please. Like,
maybe if I don't have an actual winter, how am I going to survive the 100-degree summers? Come on.
oh, those summers are brutal. Although I went to summer, we met in person. I went to summer in Minnesota. It was so humid. I could
Yeah.
not. I literally walk outside and my face would like be scrunched up from the humidity.
Yeah, you also got to deal with that. But at least what you've been dealing with is -20-degree winters. And so when it gets that cold and when it gets hot again, you're like, I'll take whatever you can give me. Though a couple weeks into August, you're like, I would like something that's a little bit cooler.
Yeah, I want to get out of there so fast. Although Minnesota, nice place. So I had a
Beautiful
fun
place.
time. I had a fun time, but it's just, yeah, from coming from even though like it's 100 degrees in California in the summer, we don't get humidity like that. So the humidity kind of yeah, we were inside a lot of indoor things. So went to the Great Mall.
Nice.
We were gonna go to the zoo. That didn't happen. I'm probably thankful for that because yeah, no, I met at this nice cafe with somebody. I think his name's Pete Rogers. Yeah. If you guys saw the teaser photo on Twitter, it's the photo that I took of us. And yeah. Well, let's get into this for the second time. Yeah, I'm gonna keep saying that because yeah, I don't know what I did to stop that recording, but
Hey,
anyway,
we live and we learn.
I'm still new, so cut me some slack. All right, let's talk about your history of designing, like what kind of got you started and what kind of sparked that interest.
Yeah, I would say that it's kind of always been something that I've been interested in, not specifically jersey designs, but just designing in general. Growing up, my siblings and I used to make like movies and record music, and so I would design movie posters, album covers, all that kind of stuff. Learned Photoshop at a pretty young age, and then kind of has always been doing that. And when COVID hit, it was when COVID hit that I kind of had the free time to like actually sit down and try to maybe do some jersey stuff. I was working for SB Nation at the time, and I just was like perusing the internet, stumbled upon a really, mid but functional NBA jersey template, and I was like, okay, I can do something with this. So I redesigned the NBA, and then SB Nation at the time, since I was working for them, they promoted it, and that kind of got a lot of eyeballs on it on Instagram, and kind of built a small following there to start, and then just kind of kept doing that, kept finding different templates for different sports, and was like, okay, this is my intro to redesigning that league, and so I would do that. So I redid the NFL, then I redid baseball, then I redid the NHL, and yeah, and since then just kind of continuing to do whatever tickles my fancy. It's kind of a never ending like creative pool, because you can never really do too many ideas for a team, and even if you run out of ideas for a team, each league has got 30-ish teams, and if you run out of ideas for an entire league, there's plenty of leagues out there that you can redesign. So that's kind of been fun. It's been fun to like tap into this kind of endless creative pool, and an awesome community too, which obviously
Yeah.
you are a big part of. And so
Thank you.
yeah, it's been a blast to kind of like wade into those waters and using a lot of water metaphors, and I'm very proud of myself.
I mean, water is the best thing in my opinion. So
It's all about
it's
hydration, but yeah, it's been great. It was kind of all through just happenstance. Nothing really planned. No real strategy behind it. It was just kind of like, as everyone says, people say this about like, I was a film major in college, and
okay.
what everyone always says is about that is just like, create stuff and put it out there and see what happens. And it didn't work for me with film, but it's been working so far with design.
I feel like too, like if you do something for so long, like you do in the basketball jerseys, you try to do something else. People are just like, "What is this guy doing? He's supposed to be doing like basketball jerseys and stuff like that." Like I find that definitely like I tried a baseball series once and like barely any engagement. So I'm like, well, okay, I guess basketball is what I'm going to have to do, unfortunately. So I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah,
I mean, but you
it's
post, yeah. Sorry.
it's tough though. It's tough bouncing between leagues. I think it's super fun, but it's tough because every different league has like different kind of rules for jerseys, and so it's like fun to kind of dive into those rules. Obviously I grew up Celtics and Patriots fan, and then lukewarm Red Sox fan, but like had an understanding of what go into NFL, NBA, and MLB jerseys. And then when I was starting the NHL series, I had to do a lot of research into like, okay, what are all of like the rules for an NHL
Yeah.
jersey? Like where do the patterns go? Where does the logo go? Where does the stripes go? Where do the numbers go? And it's fun. It's fun to kind of like get that template figured out and then play in that template and kind of see where you can push the boundaries and have fun with it.
I mean, yeah, it's just learning all those little things, then trying to slowly negate to like varying a little bit.
Yeah.
You've done that a lot with because you post a lot. Well, you used to post a lot on Instagram. You haven't really done much recently. We'll get into that part later. Why that's probably a reason, but like you would post like all these insane series, like baseball jerseys on basketball, basketball on football, all this stuff, and like where do these ideas kind of come from? Like, when do you think like, hey, let me do this, or do you just it's kind of happen, like you said, kind of happens sometimes, and then you just
Yeah.
go
I
off?
would say I would say a lot of it comes from, I mean, either you're just doing like just a basic redesign. So you're just taking a league and making jerseys you think look cooler than what are currently out there. Sometimes it's ideas that people have had and they send them to me. So like I've definitely done that on Insta where I'll ask out and be like, okay, who's got ideas for another series? And I think that was the one of the series to come out of that was the like, what if baseball teams played basketball and what if NFL teams played hockey? And so like, what would those jerseys look like? And that was a really fun series to do because it's taking pieces and putting them on different jerseys and like abiding by those different rules. And then other times it's just kind of what feels fun to me, or maybe like to say it different ways, like an idea, a certain jersey will hit me, and I'm like, oh, that's a really cool jersey, and then it's like, okay, how can I turn that into a full series if I want to? And that was kind of the idea behind a series I did a while ago was the NBA graphic series, which was the premise was basically like, what if NBA
Love
jerseys
that
were
one.
much more pattern forward, like soccer kits?
Yeah,
And that was, I just made like a couple of jerseys where I was like, oh, these are like kind of cool art pieces. And then I was like, oh, what if we did like, what if happened to expand this across the entire league?
yeah,
And so that's how that one series came about. And so, yeah, by no means am I like originating most of these ideas.
yeah.
It's ones, it's ideas that other people have done too. And it's just like taking your own spin on these series that kind of permeate throughout Jersey community.
Yeah. It's definitely hard, especially for people like us that do so much, to find something that hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
Um, like yeah, you have a bunch of stuff like that graphic series is cool, and then people have definitely have done like, oh, what if the Giants had a basketball jersey for the Warriors that had a
Oh,
baseball
for
jersey,
sure.
blah blah blah. So it's kind of hard to come up with things, but then putting your own little twist on it, I appreciate it. I'm just hoping others appreciate it. You're just I just think you're doing it just to kind of keep going and kind of try to be creative.
Yeah,
But
it's fun. It's fun too to like just kind of again find a different avenue, where
yeah,
it's like instead of just being like, okay, I'm gonna try to think of a new Seahawks jersey. It's like, well, what if instead of a new Seahawks jersey, it was a Seahawks jersey as a baseball jersey? Or,
yeah,
what if the Seahawks, what if, I did another series which was for each city, all of the teams of that city had to have pieces on one jersey. And what would that jersey look like?
yeah.
And so doing things like that.
I've also had that thought. I've never actually put it down, but I've
You should
seen
do it.
you do. Well, I do it so much already, man. Like I
I
have
know you
barely
do.
any time to myself. I mean, there was like I had one thought. I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe we can collaborate this, or maybe you can just take it over. What if there was no like team names? What if they're all just like basketball club and football club, and they all just share a single identity? Kind of like how like like EuroLeague and soccer in Europe, they're basketball teams and football teams. They share the
Mm-hmm.
same
Mm-hmm.
same all that. So just an idea. You can take it if you want, or if you
You
want,
got
we can
that
talk
too, and
about it later.
you kind of have that in Pittsburgh too. Pittsburgh, all the teams have different names, but they all have
Yeah,
the same, black and yellow
black.
color
Yeah,
scheme.
black and yellow. Yeah. So I mean, that's something to look into. We'll see how that works with everything going on. So Um, I want to talk about yeah. Again, you said you started doing jerseys during COVID, but you originally were like doing illustration stuff. Like I looked at your Instagram. You had a lot of illustrations. Like I looked. You got like 10, maybe like 9 likes on each one. Then you post your first jersey. It goes 300 likes. Is that little like I'm not gonna say demoralizing, but like you done illustration for so long and then doing something new and it gets so many likes and you kind of slowly fade away on the illustrations.
Not really.
No.
The illustration stuff. So like I created an Instagram solely just because I felt like I should have one, and then I was just kind of like I would just basically post doodles to it. Uh, by no means was I trying to like create a curated, account
Yeah.
where I was like, these are my drawings. I'm an artist. By no means am I an artist. I just was sketching. It was like, this is cool. Using Procreate and all that kind of stuff. And then once, it wasn't until I started posting jerseys and that became like a draw to people that I decided was like, okay, I guess Instagram is a platform that I'll be using now, and this is what my Instagram will be jerseys, and that's why like you can scroll through and there's still like, especially towards the very beginning of my Insta page, it was just like all kinds of random stuff in there
Yeah.
because I was not anticipating anything in terms of like what this actual account was going to be, and then once it became something, once it started like kind of garnering a following, and I became a little more curated in terms of how the page is laid out.
Yeah. You mostly post like all your random projects on there, but then you mostly keep your Twitter for like Boston Celtics related kind of stuff like there. So yeah, we talked about like all these like jerseys getting so many more likes than your original works and stuff. What would you say was your first kind of big break, the one that got like the most likes and got your following kind of really started?
On Insta, I would say it was the NBA redesign, the first one. That one was the one where like suddenly I had a decent following on Instagram where I was like, okay, maybe I should just keep doing jerseys. Maybe this is what people are kind of looking for. I would say on Instagram, the other kind of big jersey series that kind of kept bumping followers was the graphic series. Um, the second time I redid the NFL, I did that as a bigger project. I was doing not just jerseys, not just like a jersey. I did helmets, home and away, and alt, and then a full redesign of the uniform. And so that one, I think, also was a pretty big kind of boost in followers. And then obviously on Twitter, it was the Celtics victory jersey series. That was obviously the one that really that took off, and that was the kind of thought behind it. Was I had built a pretty strong following on Instagram, and my Twitter had been exclusively, it's just basically me rambling about Boston sports. And so I was like, all right, what is something that's like Boston centric that I can do on Twitter that's like exclusively Twitter, to try to kind of like help grow that side of that media platform, and decided on the Celtics victory jersey idea, and it really took off much more than I could have expected in terms of both like followership, but then also just like recognition and then ultimately leading to manufacturing, which is a whole wild trajectory.
Yeah, I mean, everyone always claims that, hey, Pete Rogers, they're stealing your idea, but like really, like, I mean, not I'm not saying you did, but you kind of stole the idea from someone else,
Oh,
sort
for
of.
sure. Oh,
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
you
No.
want to
So
go
the
into detail about that?
yeah. So the idea came from an artist who I think on Twitter her handle is Rita Oak, and this was 3 years ago now. Good God, that's upsetting that I've been doing this for 3 years. Not upsetting, wild.
Yeah,
It's upsetting that I've made that many jerseys. That's the upsetting part.
yeah.
Um, but so she was doing a thing where every day her thing was drawing a picture of the 49ers for every day until they won the Super Bowl. And I was like, all right, that is a huge like undertaking from her.
Yeah,
There is 0% chance I'm going to be able to do a jersey a day for as
every
long as
day.
the NBA season is. And this was the year. So I started it in 2020-2023 season. So it was the Celtics were coming, or 2022, sorry. Celtics were coming off of finals loss to the Warriors. They had signed like Malcolm Brogdon, and they had like kind of all these and I was like, okay, this feels like another, big year. We're going to do this
Yeah,
year. It's going to be, a lot of wins. It's going to be this like kind of like really, this is going to be a big season. We're getting even better, and we're going to continue. And so I was like, okay, well, let's do wins. Let's do wins. I'll do a jersey every time the Celtics win. Plus, it was a fun way too for me, having recently moved to Minnesota at the time, to stay up to date with like how the Celtics were doing. Because otherwise, the NBA season's long, and it's really easy if you're not in the actual city to kind of forget about the other team. What's the record and all that jazz, and you can't watch as many games as you used to be able to watch. So I figured this way I'm going to be really in touch into like how the season is going, because I got to pay attention about every win.
yeah.
And that year the Celtics won 57 games, so I had to do 57 jerseys. And that like there was a 9-game winning streak in that, which was I remember quite exhausting from a design standpoint. Um, and then I brought it back last year, 64 jerseys. They won a championship. Doing it again this year. So far, we're at 30 jerseys. It's it's a lot of jerseys to design, but it's been a ton of fun. It's been insane that I've done it for 3 years. It's been insane that it like continues to get, people are continue to be interested and engaged in it. That people continue to not only like enjoy the jerseys I design, but also, as you are so beautifully doing, wear them and own them. Is always wild to me. I've been getting lots of pictures of them appearing at Celtics games, which
I
is
got another
just
one right here
insane.
too, so now we can see. Yeah,
Um, so that's been like the series that has really kind of taken off and kind of has been much more than I could have ever imagined it was. The stuff on Instagram has been great up
yeah,
until recently. Like recently, that too has also really taken off, and that's through switching over to Reels, and doing Reels has been also a huge follower gainer and a huge kind of like engagement boost, which is
By the
exactly what
way,
Instagram
I gotta
wants.
say, great format. I really like the format you do for those ones. Yeah,
Again, and I will not take credit for that format. There are so many
you
content
steal
creators.
everything, man. Come on.
So many content creators have the exact same format where it's like, show your face for 2 seconds, show the quick design process, show the final product. I mean, each video is like 10 seconds long. And so
Gets the point across though. So
it gets the point across. And I will say the funniest thing about it, and I follow a lot of other creative designers who are, whether or not it's logos or I follow someone who does book covers, which is really cool. They do awesome work, but it's amazing how many people in the comments are like, wow, did you think about this? Or like, wow, didn't take you very long. Did you like, and you're like, oh, well, no, I didn't actually design this in 10 seconds.
yeah,
It took me 6 hours to design this jersey. And then I just put, I just made the process look really easy and quick. Like there's a lot of work goes on behind the scenes to actually
Yeah.
design this jersey. It's not as quick and easy as it looks in the video, but uh, that's another another tangent.
I actually want to put you to the challenge on that. I have this idea that I have. We'll supply a template. I think you already have the templates anyway, but we want to see you take 5 minutes to design a jersey.
I'm in.
You're in? Okay, cool. Before we get to there, let's hear a word from our sponsor. If you follow me on social media, you know I like to design uniforms. Maybe a little too much. Luckily, Proline mockups make it very easy. We've got professionally made 4K Photoshop mockup templates that look amazing and are super easy to work with. They don't take up a lot of disk space, making it easy on your computer. From jerseys to helmets, individual pieces to complete uniforms, we've got everything you need to take your design to the next level. You want to try for yourself? Head on over to Proline Mockups and grab a template today. Even better, you can save 10% by using code LAYERS at checkout. Head on over to Proline Mockups today. Now back to the podcast. All right, here's the challenge, Pete. You have
All right.
5 minutes.
Oh my god.
Focus.
Focus.
Well,
Focus.
I don't know if you saw my videos in the past. I used to do that 1-5-10 challenge.
Dude,
By
the
the way,
1 minute stuff was insane. The 1 minute was just like change the colors, put a logo on it, done.
I didn't always finish. I think I mostly failed that one. So I'm like, I need like a little bit more time. And so I wasn't gonna do that to you, but
I appreciate that.
10 minutes was too long. So we're gonna go 5 minutes. Are you
All
ready?
right. All right. I'm doing a Celtics jersey?
You can do Celtics. You can do whatever you want.
All right. I got all the stuff for Celtics. So we'll do Celtics.
Okay, cool. And then, like, if you can, while you're doing it, just this is probably better for the video watchers if you're listening to the podcast.
Which
Go
is
over
a
you
plug. Go subscribe to YouTube.
exactly YouTube Layers Pod.
Yeah.
Okay,
There you go.
you ready to go?
All right. All right. I'm ready.
Hold on, my timer just gone. Okay, 3. And then, hey, while you're doing it, try to describe what you're doing if it's possible. I know you might have to be
Never. It's
focused.
going to be radio silence. I want the people who are listening to the podcast to just hear 5 minutes of just clicks. It'd be like, sucks to suck. Gotta go to the YouTube and just actually have something to look at.
Should I like be like a golf announcer? Like, put the word mark onto the. Okay.
The word mark has been added.
Oh, it's a little off centered. Bold move.
This is a terrible choice by him.
That's a bold move, Cotton. Okay. Please let me get that reference. No, anyway. Okay. Ready, set,
Ready.
go.
All right. Let's start with green because the Celtics are green.
Of course.
And what I always like to do, this is always my strategy, is I go into my collection of word marks, ta-da, and I see what word mark I want to use today. And let's go with, what's tickling my fancy? Let's go with the old school, what's their classic script? Let's see what that is. What do I have for classic script? Oh, can I use that? Sure. We'll do that. We're not. Well, yeah, let's do that. Okay, so we're doing that classic script. If it's white, let's see where it's at. On the chest. That looks kind of nice. We're going to go. What is my vibe? What is my vibe for this? Swoosh. We're going to make that white. Let's see. I kind of been feeling very solid, bold colors. So let's put on some sides to the jersey. Celtics don't really ever have sides to their jersey, but let's try it. And let's try, what do we want to do? That could be a cool side. Maybe we take, I know people are going to be like, that's the Bucks jersey. But maybe we do some colored boxes. How do we feel about that? Do I hate that? I don't think so. And so what we'll do is we'll do it. Okay, well, I can't hide that. We're going to make this green. How much time do I have left?
You are down. I should probably announce this. You're about 3 minutes.
I got 3 minutes left, or I've been through 3 minutes.
You're about 3 minutes left.
Okay, 3 minutes left. Okay, I can handle 3 minutes.
10. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Do I like that? I don't know. But let's shrink this down a little bit. Oh my god, what am I highlighting? Really, the time crunch, man, really gets you.
Yeah.
Let's do another green. Let's do another green here, and let's do a gold. Oh, please. Everything is popping up in my face, Casey. Unacceptable. I don't hate that, but I don't like it with the green. So if we make that white, does that make the green stand out a little bit more? It does. Now, what if I condense this a little bit more? Let's move this here. Move this here. I'm going to make these a little more narrow. Okay. I don't hate that. I don't hate that, and that's always a good place to be. When you are designing 2 minutes? Oh my God. When you're designing a jersey, you should never hate it. That is a fun tip from yours truly. All right, well, it needs to have a number. So let's go. Let this be a lesson to you that when you think that my jerseys take no time at all to design, it is very clearly not the case, because this is, and we'll go, let's do Tatum 0. And we're going to do this 120 because I think that Tatum's font is. And we'll do this 150. And we're going to put this over here under. Let's go 110. So we're going to, and so I'm putting the 0 in under the word mark to the right hand side. That looks okay. I don't hate that. We're going to make the number a little bit smaller. I don't like a huge number there. I think it takes away from the word mark. And okay, I like that. What do I got left?
1 minute.
Oh my God, this thing is. Okay, what am I getting rid of the side panels entirely? Look at that. That's a gorgeous jersey.
That reeks Boston.
That does. I mean, that's literally what Boston loves to do. We love to be the simplest jersey known to mankind. Okay, what if I bring the color here in the cuffs and in the sleeve? All right, we're gonna bring that gold.
30
green.
seconds.
What do I have? 30 seconds?
30 seconds, yes.
God damn it. Okay, we're gonna do that. That's perfect at the cuff. Now we're gonna do the sleeves. Stressing.
10 seconds.
Get this fit. Oh my God. Oh, I think I did this wrong, but I actually like that better. So we're going to flip this. Flip vertically. Ah!
Okay, we're going to count it.
There we go.
Yeah, we count it.
All right.
It's fun now, like, seeing people do it and realize that, hey, it's not that easy.
Oh my God, it's so hard. It's so hard because you don't realize how much time you spend just like futzing around, right? Unless you come up with like a super clear idea. Like the only clear idea, I did one of the jerseys I've done, victory jerseys, way back in the very first iteration, was a one for the Rainbow Swash, which is it's Rainbow Swash on a giant storage tank in Dorchester. And that one, I had such a clear idea of it that I came into that design and it took me no time to actually do. Like I just like boom, 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 pieces together. Love it. Yeah. Done. And when you don't have an idea like that, like if I were to have an extra minute, I would A, condense that a little bit. B, I would turn this into a shape so that I can put a gold border on it. Because now we have a gold connection into the numbers, which makes a lot more sense as to why the gold is on the jersey. And even just that small little tweak. And even you could probably do. See, this is the thing. It's like I'm just going to experiment now forever.
Yeah.
Like I'm just going to go back and forth until I find what I like, and I like that so much better. And I want the O now, the 0 a little bit bigger too. And see, like now, ta-da! Now, like that's even more of a complete jersey. And it took me an extra bit. If I had that extra time, I think the Celtics logo is a little bit big. I'm going to scale it down just a tiny bit. This is the intricacies that I go through, and it's just constant little tweaks until you finally get it, and then you're like, okay, like that's not bad. I am a fan of that. Now, would it look better, for instance? Now I'm just hijacking the podcast. We're not asking questions anymore. This is just watching Pete neurotically make a jersey design. Would it be better if the O was in the middle? That looks pretty clean too.
I like it off
Anyways,
center
okay.
personally.
I do too. I think it's better off center. So we're going to save it there. Wait, I'm going to save it small. There it is. Okay. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, that's actually pretty clean. I'm actually, you know what?
Uh,
This might be jersey. This might be victory number 31 because I need a
Oh,
jersey for victory number
okay,
31.
okay.
This is pretty clean. I'm not
5 minutes asterisk. Okay.
5 minutes, 5 minutes with a little bit of asterisks, and
Just
that's a clean jersey. That's a jersey that I like that. I like that. All right.
sometimes spontaneity is the best thing.
Yeah, sometimes when you were maybe this is a design method that I need to implement when I'm low on ideas, and I'm like, oh god, the last thing I can do is design another jersey. Be like, okay, well then you got 5 minutes, go
Yeah, do it, do it.
do it, and see
Uh,
what happens.
cool. Hey, it looks nice.
I'll take it.
Looks nice.
That's
Yeah.
that's a win. Now we save and we close.
So I want to bring it back to the win designs a little bit here because you've done it for many seasons, but the playoffs you do it a little differently.
I do,
Yeah.
and that is, I mean, this is a excellent podcast hosting, by the way, because now I get to brag about you to you,
No,
and you're like, oh my gosh,
I should have done this.
me? Oh gosh, you shouldn't have. Yes, the only reason that I can do these playoffs. So in the playoffs, I was like, all right, can I really take on another potentially 16 games when I've already done at the minimum 57? Right, the first year was 57, and I was like, I don't know if I can do another 16 if that's the way it goes. So what I decided instead was to do, since you're playing one team, is like each team has such a huge jersey inventory. What if the Celtics steal a jersey design for every win in the playoffs? And it led to a lot of cool jerseys. You get a lot of cool jerseys because, every team has a jersey that, like, even if you're not a fan of that team, you're like, that's a cool looking jersey. But you don't necessarily want to, like, own it and rep it because it's not your team. But what if it is your team and it looks like that design? And so that is where, obviously, the great word Mark Smith, Casey, comes in.
Oh, word Mark Smith. Okay.
The word Mark Smith is that most of these jerseys would fail to look anything like or resemble anything like the jerseys they're intended to resemble if it were not for Casey's marksmanship when it comes to word marks. So we collabed in the first year and it was a wild success. And then we collabed last year, and I
think that this was from the first year, right?
That was from first year, yeah. The
Yeah.
Sixers first year jersey was a Game 6 victory, and it was gorgeous. And that was when the Celtics won in Game 7, and Tatum dropped 50, and that was a beautiful performance. And so we had to do an emergency drop of that one. It's the old school Allen Iverson, with the Sixers swoosh and
yeah. There you go. Yeah.
yeah. So again, go watch the YouTube. Otherwise, you just listen to me like utter complete gibberish for the last 10 minutes as I tried to design a jersey.
Then you have this one too from Miami last year. Was it last year? Or the year,
and then we had
before?
I think it was also the year before.
Yeah.
I don't think we dropped. Yeah, we didn't drop any playoff jerseys from last year because they went on to win, and then we had our Banner 18 jersey. Maybe they'll play a unique trajectory of teams this playoff. So I'm not designing more Miami jerseys or Miami Boston jerseys.
There's not very many Miami jerseys to steal from anymore. You kind of stole them all.
No, that's very true. And also, if they trade Jimmy Butler, then I'm fine. We're not playing Miami in the playoffs. But yeah, it's a nice break. It's a nice break of like not having to think of the ideas myself. It's just kind of like finding the cool jerseys from each team that I like, the 4 jerseys I like, and then designing those. And it's fun. It's fun to kind of like flex a different muscle and to see just like how different team designs translate to Celtics colors, Celtics team, team names, branding. And for the most part, it does a pretty good job. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And so it's fun to like do that and to see how transferable designs are.
Yeah, and it works. Maybe because it's Boston, I don't know, but I feel like they all work.
Yeah. I think it's you guys simple color. Yeah, they do all work, which is ultimately what makes them a good looking jersey.
Yeah, I do say so myself. Like I said, I had to get one of these. It looks really nice. It's I don't know if you noticed, but it's Tatum #0.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
that's how you roll.
I've also done the win design. I took it to a different extent this year.
You have taken it to an extreme extent this year. So, like, I think I'm doing a lot of jerseys, and I have done 30 so far this season. You have like 4 teams under your belt that you're doing wins for.
6, but who's counting?
6. That's preposterous.
Well, here's the thing. This will be posted before day. This will be posted on day 99 of the NBA season. I didn't tell you this. After day 100, done.
You're done.
I'm done. It's too
Can't
many.
do it anymore.
I can't. How
I
about
mean,
this?
I fully respect it.
We'll put a goal. I'm gonna post a tweet when this episode releases. If it hits 200 likes, I'll keep going.
Perfect. Done. I'm gonna retweet
Some
it, and I'm going to.
engagement.
I'm gonna create. I'm gonna create
Please don't.
200 accounts. I'm gonna create 200 accounts and just like it.
One per person. But no, it's like especially bringing this podcast on, and I don't follow the teams like you follow Boston. Like I'm like literally like Houston landmark. That looks nice, cool, sweet. Let me try to figure out something, and I'll still do Sacramento. I'll still do the Kings.
There you go. There you go.
That's gonna stay on there, but even though the Knicks people
pick,
like the Knicks
you should
jerseys,
pick one of the teams. I was going to say you should pick one of the jerseys that you've had the most fun doing, and then stick with that team. Do the Kings, and then stick with like you've. I mean, some of your Knicks jerseys have been.
What is fun?
I
don't know what fun is.
A foreign concept.
Yeah,
it's just like I do nothing for fun.
I did over 400 jerseys last year. There's no fun in it. I'm just kidding.
Insane. That's insane.
You should do that. You should take on like multiple teams and
take on multiple teams. Lol.
Take over some of these teams. How about the Knicks? Just kidding. That's the worst team for you to take over.
Just start designing them just the worst jerseys I could possibly imagine.
I mean, you can do after every loss. You might be less there. So
less there.
Every Hornets win, every Knicks loss, whatever. So.
Every Knicks loss. Yeah.
All right. Well.
Can't.
You can. I know you can. We're getting towards the end here. I asked people for questions, and we got a rounding good number of 1 question.
Shout out to that one person.
This comes from Sons Geek on YouTube. This is definitely going to be something that's not aligned. Name 1 or 2 of your favorite guilty pleasure movies.
Ooh, guilty pleasure movies.
I don't know if I can answer that. We're both going to answer this, by the way, because.
All right. Let me think. Well, okay. So guilty pleasure movies.
Or how about we just do 1 each, and that gives us 2 total.
Perfect.
Does that work?
Guilty pleasure movies in my mind speaks to like a movie that you shouldn't like, but you do really like. Right? Like
or that you like and people are like, how can you like that movie?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what movie
I don't know.
I like that's maybe not universally not liked, but just like not as loved as what?
That's a tough one. Brandon,
So,
why
like,
do you gotta ask us such a difficult question?
Because you can also go for like what is the movie like a comfort movie? But a guilty. I'm changing your question so that I can answer.
Yeah. Yeah, Brandon, why you gotta make it so hard? So
classic podcasting maneuver is like,
Yeah.
I'm going to just get rid of. Let's see.
My favorite guilty pleasure movie is the NBA. I'm just kidding. No.
I love ball.
I don't know that. Yeah.
All right. I mean, it's maybe it's a cop out answer because people are going to be like, well, they're all great movies, but I would say most any overperforming overacting Nick Cage movie. Face Off, phenomenal film, A+ movie. Con Air. Con Air is like I would argue an objectively good movie. But maybe Face Off. Maybe Face Off is the best guilty pleasure I can think of off the top of my head because it's like
I've definitely seen all those movies.
Most of the time, if you watch Face, have you actually?
No, that was a joke.
Casey.
I've never seen any of those.
Casey, oh my god! All right, well that's your homework. Go watch Face Off and tell me it's not the greatest film you've ever witnessed.
What service is on? Okay, no. Anyway, ooh, I don't know how to answer this because I feel like I'm too mainstream. Like I watch all the Marvel movies. Um,
What's the worst Marvel movie that the crowd thinks is the worst Marvel movie, but you're like, actually, I'm low key think this is good.
I mean, the only problem is I agree with them. That's the only
Well,
problem.
that's hard. That's a hard place to
Uh,
be.
I'll say a lot of people didn't really like Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, but I really like that movie.
I did like that too. Shang-Chi the Ten Rings. I was a big fan of that.
It's actually up there as my one of my favorite Marvel movies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought it was really good. So
least
there you go.
favorite,
There's a guilty
Black
pleasure
Widow.
Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I never saw Black Widow.
Oh, you're not missing much. So.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
All right. Well, we've reached the end. Pete, thank you so much for all the technical difficulties for joining us.
Thank you for
Where
having me.
can where can they find you?
You can find me pretty much everywhere at Pete M. Rogers. On Twitter, on Blue Sky, on Insta. Um, and if you're interested in jerseys, like actually purchasing and owning, you can follow at Banner 18, shop at Banner 18, at all of those as well. Shop Banner 18
Banner
on
18.
Insta. There you go. Insta, Twitter, Blue Sky.
All
There
those links
and
will be
more.
put into the description, so you can find it down below, or I don't know how it works on Spotify. You'll find it in the bio or whatever.
It'll be
Well,
somewhere.
Pete, thank you again for joining. This was really
Thank you,
fun.
Casey.
I'm glad that you were my first guest. So
I'm happy to be your first, and thank you for making me do a 5 minute jersey that would have been so much better if I had 6 minutes.
yeah, 5 minute asterisk. So well, thank you for listening in. If you do enjoy it, please follow along. We're going to be releasing videos, podcasts, probably every Wednesday, if not every other. This will be again released by the time this is recorded. This will be before episode 1 was even posted. So thank you guys again, and we'll catch you next time on Layers.